Alright, hey folks, so today I'm going to show you how to kill Landslide in Mara on your solo mage. I'm going to try and do this first part live, and then I'll tack on some video using the same strategy for larger, potentially over 100 mob pulls that might be useful for boosting, or looting, or bragging rights, or whatever. But for this run, it starts off the same as the Princess kill.
I can't use that.
And I'm bringing my alt in also because you can park an alt in here and also loot the items off of Landslide, either to DE, one item he drops, gives you a large brilliant, or if it's something useful, you could bring somebody into this point and they could loot it if you had another class that liked it. And you just got to get them to this point right here, this little peninsula on the map. If they park right in this spot, you will never be killed by any of the hydras or anything. You don't need to stealth, and that's a safe spot. On your main or your killing mage, you run past this group here. Now, if I was going to do the same pack I'm talking about next, I might want to pull that group to try to kill them if I'm grouping up a big bunch of mobs to kill. But for this one, I'm just focused on Landslide. If you're being followed here, you want to just slide along this wall like that, and that keeps the mobs from hitting you most of the time. They will kind of reset, try to run back behind you, and oftentimes miss you. Link up that section of the wall, and you should have some space between you now. See, in that alcove, that pack back there, we're going to pull that pack for the next set of mobs that we kill, or kind of the next strategy that I'm showing where we're killing a group of mobs. But for this one, where we're just focused on Landslide, just avoid everybody. You can Nova that pack or run by them if you can. Run past this giant, go past the largest rock here, jump through this, and jump right up almost on top of the rock until the mobs turn around. And it takes a little while. They got to get out of range a little bit. Spam log out. I'm spamming. This button is just a /camp macro. And eventually they get far enough away that you can log out. And those mobs are on their way back the way we came, across the bridge, all the way down that first ramp to this point down here, to try to get under where I am here to be able to hit me from underneath. Because I don't know if you know or not, mobs don't see like the x-axis or altitude in being able to path to you. They can hit you if they're way over you or way under you, above you on a bridge or below you and you're on a bridge. So that's what they're trying to do to get to you at that point. But now all the mobs are reset and we want to focus on killing this giant. So I'll just start right away. If you had used frost spec to get here, or frost armor, or maybe had ice armor up, that's where you would switch over to, I don't even have buffs on. Put on buffs right now. That's a fail. You would switch over to that now. I'm adding it right now because I screwed that up. But now you can see I'm simply juggling these mobs by jumping up on top of this rock and coming back down to the dirt down here. And if you're on the dirt, they come toward you. If you're on top of the rock, they start padding away because they're trying to get underneath to you. And there's two giants in play right now. I'm just hitting whoever's closest. I got a few minutes of it being a little easier, and then they will speed up. And occasionally they stop to try to cast a boulder on you. You don't want to let them get too close like this, because they can melee you if they're too close, but it's pretty rare. It's usually pretty safe when you're up on top of this rock. And when they stop, that's a good time to cast your longer cast spell. Look at that long distance. Boom. Okay, there's a kill. Come down here. The next one should be coming back up. Alright, this should just about do it. 17 health left. There we go. So now I want to heal up pretty quickly because there is another set of 2 rocks, or sometimes I think it's 1 rock and then a bunch of little rocks that you're going to path up here that I want to kill next. And ultimately what you're doing is you're just killing the things that are going to let you juggle and kill Landslide in this spot. So where are those rocks? They should be coming up here somewhere soon. There they are. Same strategy here. It's taking forever. All right. Now we have 2 more giants to kill. 8 drink buff, made my new mana gems, ready to go again. Gonna kill these 2 giants next, using the same juggle spot. Jump back, jump up to the top. Can spin around and get a couple shots on him. Can't really see it, but there it goes.
I'm out of range. I need to get closer. That's still recharging.
I don't know why that guy came so far. I am running chronostatic preservation just in case that happens to heal myself up. Alright. Refreshed mana gems. Refilled mana. Come back up here. Landslide's up here. We're going to pull him from as far away as possible. Get a couple good shots on him. And then same strategy with a little nuance to the fact that he can stun. And he summons little guys on you. And I don't want to get stunned before I make it to my safe spot up here. There we go. And he will occasionally knock you if he gets close to you and knock you out of this spot. So you do want to be a little more careful with him than I was being with the giants. You can see he stunned me there. It's like a 6-second stun. And you want to be careful. You're sort of trying to like bait the stuns so that he only stuns you when you're at the top of your rock. And the reason is these little shardling spawns that he has. If he stuns you while you're down here, you're going to have to tank these for a while you are being, while you're stunned. And so the whole idea here is you're trying to get him to cast a stun on you while you see there he stunned me at the bottom while I'm on the dirt. So now I'm going to hit this. I'll be okay. You can see 2 seconds, 1, I'm at 60% health, and now I can get up to the top and survive that. Just barely though, actually. A little overly confident in that one. So if you want to be super careful in this, you kill these shardlings when they're close to you. But your whole idea is you're trying to kill Landslide. They will eventually despawn on their own, like that one did. He gets close. So I said I was going to do this all live, but I am going to fast forward and narrate just a little bit here. What happened here was a good 5 minutes of me sort of screwing around with the shardlings and trying to get my positioning and strategy worked out. And what I found is that, like I said, if he happens to cast his stun and his summon shardling ability on you, and by the way, that's one ability that he does at the same time. If he does that while you're off the rock down in the dirt, he's standing still and the shardlings run up the hill towards you. And number one, they can hit you while you're stunned. But worse, you end up with the shardlings between you and Landslide. And then you have to juggle the shardlings instead of Landslide, and potentially he's out of range and you can't DPS him. And what I did wrong here was, first of all, either not getting lucky or doing a good job of being stunned while I was up on top of the rock instead of down in the dirt. But I also waited for the shardlings to despawn, which takes a while, instead of just very quickly killing the ones that were close to me. So I could have done this a lot better. It ended up being a lot longer and adding like 5 minutes to the kill. But in the end, I was able to get a few living bombs on him and whittle him down to 19% and then eventually get the kill. So we'll show that here. There we go, the stun at the top.
I need to get closer. I can't pass that yet.
Should be another stun coming here soon.
I need to go hard.
Alright, so that was a lot messier than it's been for me in the past. I'm not quite sure why. But anyway, you can see how to deal with the shardlings sort of there. And this is what you want here. You can see I've got my alt parked here. Fist of Stone. Can loot it to this guy. I could be MLing it too. And that DEs into a large Brilliant, which right now on Wild Growth going for about 30 gold. So not bad, and you can actually get this much quicker than I did here. That was a little sloppy by the time I got to the kill phase there. But anyway, that's how you can kill Landslide. Now I'll show a little bit more of some experimenting I've been doing in this same spot, spurred on by some of the folks in the Mage Discord. So here's that. Alright, so same run in as if we were running to kill Princess, but this time our goal is going to be to stack up a bunch of mobs behind us and kill them in that same spot as we did juggling when we killed Landslide. So and this time I don't pass that first pack of lizards. I want to pull them, so I got them behind me. I say this often, but as you're kiting through here, jump up over these walls, especially the ones that are sort of slanted away from you. And anytime you get to where you're not directly above the floor, it messes with the mob's pathing. They either go back to where they started or evade just a little bit, and you build just a little bit of distance between you. It's the key to sort of getting through here without getting hit. You do blink up past that pack, and then in this alcove to the right here, just very quickly, I only showed it for a second where I pulled that next pack of lizards. You want to make sure you get them. That whole little area back there is key to sort of this juggle and this mob stacking that we show up here. So then you run up the hill. I do want to grab these rocks instead of passing them like I did when I was killing Landslide. I'm eventually going to pull this giant and then the two giants that are up outside of Landslide's room. And then the whole key is getting on top of this rock, which is the core of this, and in a sense doing the same juggle and kill as we did with Landslide. But right now we have this long, strung-out trail of mobs behind us, and they're not stacked. And a few weeks ago I saw a hunter doing this, and he successfully killed big packs of mobs here, somehow stacking mobs with his pet, but I didn't really understand it, and I came in here and tried. I stacked a bit with ice block, but they all kept sort of stringing out behind me, and I ended up giving up pretty quick. But, you know, as usual, the gamers on the Mage Classic Discord came through. And by the way, not to digress too much, but I make videos a little bit, and I do tons of different mage farms, but it's all sort of standing on the shoulders of these few awesome mages on the Mage Discord. They're actually going in and figuring this stuff out, and there's several of these sort of pioneer guys. There's a fellow named Taiwan that figures out tons of stuff, and a mage named VF recently posted a bunch of stuff in Sunken Temple, and back in classic era TBC there was a mage named FP that would share a bunch of stuff figuring out the nerfed wall and slave pens, and I know that Kaltorak will continue to share awesome new stuff now that he finally got his BOED dagger. I just saw it online a little while ago. So, and by the way, if you've seen my videos, then you've for sure seen his in his stream, and if not, you should certainly check it out. It's awesome. So in this case, it was a mage named Shatter. And a few days ago, he posted basically that he figured it out. And what he figured out was using a strategy of ice block to stack the mobs, but then also starting to use that little alcove I mentioned on the run up. And the brilliance of it, in my mind, is in using sort of the terrain in the structure. So I showed during the Landslide portion that there's this long trail of mobs that they sort of take pathing down to either get underneath you or up the hill to get to you directly. But that little alcove is an offshoot of that trail. And if you blink up near your juggle spot, quickly drop down into the alcove, the mobs will then collapse toward you from both sides of their stream. And then you can displace back up, and they all sort of collapse onto each other as they get back to their main path. So in that way, through a combination of sort of this blink drop into the alcove, displace back up, and ice blocking and letting them coalesce around you, and then blinking out and quickly dropping again, you can stack and restack these mobs at least enough that you can get packs big enough to living bomb in your juggle spot and whittle them down. So I did a pull here that ended up taking, it took me a good 20 minutes of stacking and killing and restacking, and I was experimenting, but I eventually got over 70 mobs down, and I'm certain it could be much, much faster. And what I did was only pulling the mobs on the way up here. What Shatter is doing is he's actually running through to the Princess area, dropping down to the area where you come up out of the water after killing Rot Grip, and then he was pulling all the lizards and the snakes down there by the goblin boss, and was able to get a good pull of well over 100 mobs together and kill them relatively quickly. So anyway, some very cool new strategy and some potential around getting mages, I hope, back into the Mara farms. I hope that's interesting, folks, and I've had this little modest YouTube channel for a good 15 years. I don't know that I've ever said like and subscribe, so not going to start now, but I really do appreciate the folks that watch and comment and even whisper me online. You guys are awesome. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.